Hey, everyone! I'm Sophia, and welcome to our very, very special podcast on dumplings. Yes, we're talking about those little pockets of joy that come in all shapes, sizes, and flavors from around the world. And trust me, they are special. But why do we love dumplings so much? That's what we're going to explore today.
Hey, everyone. I'm Mason, and yeah, dumplings. Who doesn't love them, right? Whether you've had them boiled, fried, or steamed, there's something about dumplings that makes them, well, irresistible. But like Sophia said, today we're diving deep into why we love them. And not just because they taste amazing. There's more to it.
Exactly, Mason. It's not just about the flavor, although that's a huge part of it. Dumplings connect people. I mean, think about it, almost every culture has its own version of dumplings. You've got Chinese dumplings, Italian ravioli, Japanese gyoza, Polish pierogi. I could go on forever.
Right. It's like every country has this one simple idea of wrapping something delicious inside dough. And it works. There's a kind of magic in that. But why? What's so special about wrapping food up like that? I think it's because dumplings feel like a little gift. A present that's just waiting for you to bite into it and discover something wonderful inside.
I love that idea. Mason, a gift. It's true. You never really know what's inside until you take that first bite. And that's part of the fun, right? There's always this excitement with dumplings. Is it going to be savory, sweet, spicy? Each bite is like a surprise, and that makes eating them an experience, not just a meal.
Yes, and they bring people together. Dumplings are social food. Think about it, people don't usually make dumplings just for themselves. You make them for family, for friends. It's something you share. You might have a big table with everyone sitting around, folding the dough, talking, laughing. It's like a bonding experience. Dumplings make moments.
Totally. Making dumplings together is like an event. It's a way for people to connect and spend time together. You can teach someone how to fold the dough or how to make the filling just right. It's hands-on, and you're creating something together. I think that's why dumplings feel so personal. You put your time, your energy, and your love into them.
And then, when they're ready, you all sit down and enjoy the food you made together. It's like you've accomplished something, and now you get to taste the reward. I think that's why dumplings are such a comfort food. They're simple, but they carry so much meaning.
Comfort food, yes. I was just thinking about that. Dumplings are comforting because they remind you of home. It doesn't matter where you're from when you eat dumplings. It's like a little piece of home, even if you're far away. They bring back memories, don't you think?
For sure. I remember growing up, my grandmother used to make dumplings for special occasions, and the whole house would smell amazing. That smell always brings me back to my childhood, and I think a lot of people have similar stories. Dumplings are tied to memories of family, celebrations, and happiness.
Exactly. It's those memories that make dumplings special. They're not just food, they're part of our stories. And even if you're trying dumplings from another culture, you still feel that warmth, that connection to people, to history, to tradition.
It's like when you try a new kind of dumpling, you're also learning a little about another culture. Food is such a universal language, and dumplings are a perfect example of that. You might not speak the same language, but when you share dumplings with someone, you understand each other.
That's such a beautiful thought, Mason. Dumplings as a bridge between cultures. I think that's one of the reasons why we love them so much. They're simple, yet they hold so much meaning. And they're delicious, of course.
Of course, we can't forget that part. I mean, we've talked a lot about what dumplings mean, but honestly, they're just so good. That combination of soft dough and tasty filling is just unbeatable. Whether it's meat, vegetables, cheese, or something sweet inside, dumplings are always satisfying.
Absolutely, it doesn't matter if they're steamed, boiled, or fried, they're always a hit. But it's that combination of meaning, memory, and flavor that makes dumplings really special. They satisfy both your hunger and your heart. It's like they're wrapped in love.
I couldn't agree more, Sophia. Dumplings are more than just food. They're a connection to culture, to family, to tradition, and that's why we love them.
Exactly, Mason. It's that feeling of connection that really makes dumplings so special. And what's incredible is how something so simple can bring out such deep emotions. I mean, think about it, just a small piece of dough with a little bit of filling can carry so much meaning. It's almost magical, don't you think?
Totally. It's like they're these small packages filled with not just food, but also history, culture, and, like you said, emotion. You can tell when someone has put love and care into making them. That's something you can taste in every bite.
Yes, and that's something I want to explore more, how dumplings, no matter where they come from, are always made with care. Whether it's a grandmother making them for a special family dinner or a street vendor carefully folding them by hand, there's this sense of pride in making dumplings. Each one is like a tiny work of art.
And no two are exactly the same, right? Even when you try to make them all uniform, each dumpling has its own little quirks. Some might have more filling, some might be folded a bit differently, but that's what makes them unique. There's beauty in the imperfection.
Absolutely. The process of making dumplings is an art form in itself. And it's not something that can be rushed. You have to take your time kneading the dough, preparing the filling, folding each one carefully. That patience, that attention to detail, is part of what makes them so special.
And you know, that's another reason why people love dumplings. Making them requires effort and time. It's not like fast food where you just grab something and go. Dumplings are something you slow down for, something you put thought and care into. When you're making or eating them, you're present in the moment.
Exactly, Mason. It's like the world slows down for a bit when you make dumplings. You're focused on the process, whether you're making them with friends and family or just enjoying a quiet moment to yourself. And that's part of their charm. They remind us to slow down, to appreciate the moment, and to connect with the people around us.
Right. I think that's why, when you share dumplings, it feels special. It's not just about the food itself. It's about the experience of sharing something that took time, effort, and care to make. You feel like you're giving a little part of yourself to someone else.
Exactly. And that feeling of sharing is so universal. No matter where dumplings come from, they're always something you share with others. I've had dumplings at big family gatherings, at small get-togethers with friends, and even at restaurants where strangers end up sharing a meal together. It's almost like dumplings are made to bring people together.
Yeah, they're definitely a social food. And it's funny because even though there are so many different kinds of dumplings from all over the world, that one thing stays the same: they're always shared. It's a food that brings people together, no matter what.
That's so true. And speaking of different kinds of dumplings, let's talk a bit about the variety. I mean, how amazing is it that so many cultures have their own version of dumplings? Like the filling, the dough, the cooking method, it all changes depending on where you are. And yet, at the core, they're all still dumplings.
Yes, I love that. In China, you have jiaozi. In Italy, there's ravioli. In Japan, you have gyoza. And in Poland, there's pierogi. It's like each culture took this basic idea and made it their own. But no matter what kind of dumpling it is, the feeling of comfort and togetherness is always there.
Exactly. And each one tells a story. Like, why do certain fillings show up in one culture and not another? It's because dumplings reflect the ingredients and traditions of that place. If you have cabbage and pork in one region, you'll find it in their dumplings. If you have cheese and potatoes in another, that becomes part of their dumpling tradition. It's like a little snapshot of history and geography wrapped up in dough.
Yeah, and when you think about it that way, you realize that dumplings are more than just food. They're cultural artifacts. They carry with them the history of the people who make them. Every fold of dough, every ingredient inside tells a story about where they come from.
Exactly, Mason. And it's those stories that make dumplings so special. They're not just about the taste, although, let's be real. They're delicious, but they're also about where they come from, the hands that made them, and the moments shared around them.
Yeah, it's like every dumpling has its own little history, and when you eat it, you're kind of taking part in that story. It's a connection to the past and to other people, even if you've never met them. There's something really powerful about that.
I love that idea. Dumplings as a connection to people across time and space. It's pretty incredible how something so small can hold so much meaning, isn't it?
It really is, and I think that's why, even after all this time, people still love dumplings. They're timeless. They evolve, they adapt, but they always stay true to that core idea of bringing people together, of comfort, of connection.
Exactly, Mason. Dumplings really are timeless. They've been around for centuries, yet they still manage to evolve and stay relevant. You see new takes on dumplings all the time, fusion styles, creative fillings, different cooking methods, but they never lose that core idea of comfort and connection.
Yeah, and I think that's part of their charm. Dumplings can be fancy or simple, traditional or modern. But at the heart of it, they're still dumplings. You can make them with expensive ingredients, or you can make them with whatever you have in the kitchen. Either way, they still give you that same feeling of satisfaction.
Exactly. And that flexibility is another reason why people love dumplings. They're adaptable. You can make them to suit any taste or dietary need. Vegetarian, no problem. Just swap the filling. Want something sweet instead of savory? There are dessert dumplings too. And they're perfect for any occasion, whether you're having a casual meal at home or serving them at a big celebration.
Totally, and I think that's why dumplings are always such a crowd pleaser. They're so versatile that everyone can find something they love. Even if you've never had a specific kind of dumpling before, there's always something familiar about them. Whether it's the texture, the flavor, or just the way they're made, dumplings feel like home, no matter where they come from.
That's so true. It doesn't matter if it's your first time trying a new type of dumpling, they always feel familiar somehow. There's something about that bite of soft dough and filling that just makes you feel comfortable, no matter where you are in the world.
And it's that sense of comfort that people keep coming back to. Dumplings are the kind of food you crave when you want something that's warm, satisfying, and nostalgic. I mean, how many times have we reached for dumplings on a cold day or when we need a little pick-me-up?
Yes, there's something about dumplings that just warms you up from the inside out. Whether it's the softness of the dough or the warmth of the filling, they have this way of making everything feel a little bit better. And that's a big part of why they're so loved.
Yeah, they really are the ultimate comfort food. And, like we've been saying, they bring people together. It's so interesting how, even though different cultures have their own unique dumplings, that core feeling of comfort and togetherness is always there.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how dumplings are part of so many different traditions, too. In some cultures, they're part of celebrations, like in China during the Lunar New Year. It's a time when families come together to make and eat dumplings, and it symbolizes luck and prosperity. It's not just food, it's a tradition, something that's passed down through generations.
Yeah, I love that. Dumplings aren't just for eating. They carry meaning. Like in Chinese culture, folding the dumplings to look like little gold ingots is supposed to bring wealth in the new year. And then there's the tradition of hiding a coin inside one of the dumplings for good luck. Whoever finds it is supposed to have a lucky year.
That's such a cool tradition. And it's not just China, other cultures have similar practices. In Poland, for example, they make pierogi for special occasions like Christmas, and there's a lot of meaning tied to them. It's amazing how something so simple can hold so much cultural and emotional significance.
Exactly. Dumplings are a symbol of so many things: family, luck, celebration, even comfort in tough times. They're small, but they carry so much weight. And I think that's why people never get tired of them. They're more than just food, they're part of our lives and our cultures.
That's so true. And it's funny how, even with all the different variations of dumplings around the world, they all kind of serve the same purpose. They bring people together, they comfort us, they're tied to special moments. It's like a universal language, and the message is always the same. We care for one another through food.
Exactly, Sophia. Whether it's a big family meal or just a quiet dinner with friends, dumplings are always about connection. And it doesn't matter what kind of dumpling it is. Whether it's gyoza, ravioli, or pierogi, the feeling you get when you share dumplings with someone is always special.
Yes, and that's what I love most about dumplings. They make you feel connected, even if you're trying a new kind for the first time. It's that shared experience of enjoying something simple yet meaningful. And I think that's why dumplings will always have a special place in people's hearts.
Yeah, dumplings definitely have that staying power. They've been around for centuries, and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. There's something about them that just makes them timeless, like we said earlier. They've evolved, but they still have that same essence.
And I think that's the beauty of dumplings. They can change with the times, with new flavors and new styles, but at the core, they'll always be dumplings, simple, comforting, and full of meaning. That's why we love them. No matter where you are or who you're with, dumplings will always feel like home.
You're right, Sophia. Dumplings really do feel like home. And I think part of that is because in so many cultures, making dumplings is something people do together. It's not just about the end result, the food, it's about the process. Whether it's family members gathering around a table to fold dumplings or friends helping each other in the kitchen, it's a shared experience.
Exactly. And that process of making dumplings is almost as special as eating them. There's something about working together, talking, laughing, maybe even telling stories while you fold the dough or prepare the filling. It makes the food taste even better because of the time and effort everyone put into it.
Yes, that's such a big part of it. I remember watching my grandmother make dumplings when I was younger, and it was like she had this rhythm, this way of folding and sealing them perfectly every time. And when she let me help, it felt like I was part of something special. I wasn't just eating dumplings, I was helping to create them.
That's such a great memory. I think we all have those moments, especially if we grew up with dumplings as part of our family traditions. Even if you didn't, though, making dumplings is something anyone can enjoy. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an expert. The process is what matters, the experience of creating something with your hands.
Absolutely. It's one of those simple joys, isn't it? Taking a bit of dough, filling it with something you love, and folding it into a neat little package, and it's such a forgiving process. Sure, there's a bit of technique, but even if your dumplings don't look perfect, they still taste amazing. There's no pressure to make them look perfect. They're about the heart, not perfection.
Yes, exactly. I think that's another reason why dumplings are so universally loved. They're accessible. You don't need to be a professional chef to make them, and there's a kind of beauty in their imperfections. The fact that you made them yourself or with someone you care about makes them perfect in their own way.
And that's the thing about food in general, but especially with dumplings. It's not about perfection, it's about what goes into it literally and figuratively. The effort, the love, the care, that's what makes them taste so good. And it's probably why they're such a staple in comfort food around the world. They represent more than just a meal, they represent time spent together.
Totally. I think that's why, whenever we talk about dumplings, we can't help but smile. They remind us of good times, family, friends, and shared moments. It's funny how a simple food can carry so much emotional weight. but that's what makes dumplings so special. It's not just the taste, it's the memories and the connections that come with them.
Yeah, and it's amazing how that feeling crosses cultures too. Whether you're talking about Chinese jiaozi, Japanese gyoza, Italian ravioli, or Polish pierogi, the idea of coming together to make and enjoy dumplings is something that so many people can relate to. It's like a universal language of food and everyone speaks it.
Exactly. It's like no matter where you go in the world, dumplings are a way of saying, let's sit down together, let's share this moment. And I think that's why, even in today's fast-paced world, dumplings are still so popular. We all crave that connection, that moment where we can slow down and enjoy something simple, but meaningful.
Definitely. In a world where everything is moving so quickly, where we're always on the go, dumplings are a reminder to slow down, to take a breath, and to enjoy the little things. You can't rush a good dumpling, and that's part of the magic. You have to take the time to make them, to fold them carefully, and to cook them just right. It's a reminder that good things take time.
And I think that's a great metaphor for life, too. Don't you think good things take time? Whether it's building relationships, creating memories, or even just making dumplings, it's the time you invest that makes it all worthwhile. There's something really grounding about that.
Absolutely. It's like dumplings teach us patience. They teach us that some of the best things in life aren't instant. They take time, effort, and a bit of care. And when you finally sit down to enjoy them, the reward is so much sweeter because you know what went into it.
And it's not just about the dumplings themselves. It's about everything that surrounds them, the conversations, the stories, the laughs, the time spent together. That's what makes dumplings more than just food. They're a way of connecting, of bringing people together. And that's something we all need, no matter where we are or what we're going through.
Exactly. Dumplings are more than just a meal, they're a moment, a shared experience. And that's why people love them so much. They're comforting, they're nostalgic, and they bring a sense of togetherness that's hard to find elsewhere.
Yes, and in a way, they remind us to appreciate the simple things. In the end, it's not about how fancy or elaborate the food is, it's about the people you share it with and the memories you create along the way. That's what makes dumplings, and food in general, so special. It's not just nourishment for the body, but nourishment for the soul.
Exactly. And that's why, no matter where you go or what kind of dumpling you try, there's always something familiar and comforting about them. They're a reminder that food is so much more than just sustenance, it's connection, it's tradition, it's love, and that's why we love dumplings.
That's so true, Mason. Dumplings really do remind us that food is more than just something we eat. It's a way of showing love, of bringing people together, and of creating memories. Whether it's through the flavors, the process of making them, or the people we share them with, dumplings capture all of that in one simple bite.
Yes, and it's kind of amazing when you think about it, how something as simple as dough and filling can hold so much meaning. But that's the beauty of it. Dumplings are humble, but they carry with them this rich, cultural weight that transcends the food itself. They connect us to the past, to our traditions, and to each other.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes them such a comfort food in so many places. Whether it's in a cozy family setting or at a street vendor on a busy day, biting into a dumpling feels like a moment of warmth, of peace, and of happiness. It's the kind of food that makes you feel good, not just because it's delicious, but because of everything it represents.
And that's why I think dumplings will always have a special place in our hearts. No matter where life takes us, no matter how far we travel, dumplings bring us back to those feelings of comfort, connection, and belonging. They remind us of the simple joys in life and how important it is to cherish those moments.
Yes, they really do. Dumplings are more than just food. They're a little reminder to slow down, enjoy life, and connect with the people around us. They're a celebration of togetherness, and that's something we all need more of especially these days.
Exactly. In a world where everything moves so fast, it's nice to have something that asks us to take our time. Whether it's making them with family or friends, or just sitting down to enjoy a plate of freshly steamed or fried dumplings, it's a moment to pause and appreciate life.
And at the end of the day, that's what food is all about, right? Bringing people together, creating memories, and sharing love. Dumplings do that in the simplest, most beautiful way. They remind us of what really matters: connection, tradition, and love.
Couldn't agree more, Sophia. Dumplings have this magical ability to bring out the best in us: patience, care, and a sense of togetherness. And in a way, that's why we love them so much. They aren't just food. They're a little piece of happiness wrapped in dough.
Absolutely, Mason. And I hope that every time we sit down to enjoy dumplings, we remember all the things they symbolize: love, family, friendship, and the joy of sharing something special. It's those simple moments, after all, that make life so meaningful.
Well, I think we've talked about everything there is to love about dumplings: how they bring people together, how they comfort us, and how they remind us of the important things in life. I feel like I could keep talking about them forever, but it's probably time to say goodbye.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap it up, but I guess all good things have to come to an end, right? I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope everyone listening feels the same connection to dumplings that we do. It's been so much fun talking about why they mean so much to us.
Definitely. And for everyone listening, we hope the next time you eat a dumpling, whether you're making it from scratch or picking one up at your favorite spot, you think about all the reasons why they're so special. Take a moment to savor the experience and remember the love and tradition that go into every bite.
Thanks for joining us in this conversation about dumplings, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Until next time, take care and enjoy the simple joys in life.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.